guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is my first vlog of 2021, so happy new year to everybody. Currently sat in Peach's stable with a cup of tea, a nice warm coat on, and I thought perfect opportunity because I have a rare day off today to do this vlog. And as you'll see from the title, it's about motivation and staying motivated even though we're in such uncertain times. Now, I know the year hasn't exactly started how we wanted it to, with another lockdown, national lockdown, all events being cancelled. We can't ride, go and ride with our friends. We can't go training. We can't have lessons unless it's at our, your own yard. But I still feel like we are heading in the right direction and we are going to get back to some sort of normality fairly soon. And why not be prepared for when that does happen? Positive mental attitude is what I say. But yeah, I just wanted to have a chat with you today, and I've also teamed up with some of my awesome brand ambassador girlfriends from Equus, England, and they've also pulled together a little bit for me, which we'll play a little bit later, about how they are also trying their best to stay motivated, keep up with their training and getting themselves prepared for the year ahead, because I do believe it will happen. And I have a really favourite saying of mine, which is, if you fail to prepare, you prepare to fail. So let's all get prepared for the competition season to start back up again and be ready to really, hit it hard and achieve some goals. You should still be setting goals for every year. So let's take the time to, work on really getting ourselves ready for when we can start back up again and when the competitions start again, so that we can achieve those goals. So yeah, apologies that I'm in my stable. I had planned to do this from aboard Peaches, but the weather today is completely against us. So I decided to do it in here instead. So I just want to talk to you about some goal setting. Now, I know it's really difficult when, you don't know what's happening, and, it's just like, oh my God, we're never gonna, get out, we're never gonna be able to do anything, but we are going to be able to go out and do something. And, at the end of the day, we still need to enjoy our horses. That's what we all have them for. It's what we all work hard for, to pay for. So let's still enjoy them, even if we can't go out and compete. Now, I know I'm really, really lucky that I have my own arena, be it a small one, but I still do have the space where I can, still do some training, etc. But you can still do schooling out hacking, and you can still sit and really think about setting some goals, etc. Now, I did take some time to sit down. Last year I didn't really have very many goals because me and Peaches weren't in a particularly good place, so I only really had a couple of small goals, but I did achieve those small goals, even though we were in lockdown for most of the year. And I even achieved a little bit more than those small goals, so it can be done. So this year I have set myself a couple of slightly more challenging goals for the year, because we are in a much better place. And dare I say it, actually, I think lockdown last year did us both the world of good, because it took all the pressure away from not having to go out and compete, but the pressure of seeing everybody out competing and really, really wanting to go out and do it myself, even though I knew it wasn't right. So it really did me a massive favour, taking away all that pressure, and I could just spend the time at home. So this year I have set myself some goals, and what I have done to make myself accountable for them is I've actually written them down. Yeah. So I've written them down and I've sent them to my trainer so that my trainer is aware of my goals. And I'll tell you what my goals are, I'm not ashamed to say. So I have 3 main goals for this year. My first goal is to compete in more team events for my amazing riding club, Cornwall Trek. I really, quite on a whim, competed in the team dressage in November and I absolutely loved it. I had a blast. I had a beautiful day. My team came 5th. It was so supportive and I loved it. It was the first time I've ever done it. So this year I really want to do more team stuff for Cornwall Trek. My second, following on from that dressage, my second goal is I would like to improve our dressage score to 70%. So we're currently in the lowish end of the 60s, 63, 64% for dressage. And I want to work on improving that score this year, and I would like to at least get a 70% dressage test by the end of the year. And my third and final goal for 2021 is that I would like to go and jump an 80 centimetre show jumping round at Coleraine. Now, for those of you that don't know Coleraine is a local to me equestrian centre that holds quite a lot of BS events, BD events and some unaffiliated events and things, but Coleraine are renowned for building massive. So we always say, or I always say, if you can jump an 80 round at Coleraine, you could probably jump a 90 everywhere else. Because Mike at Coleraine, he builds for British show jumping, and he builds them right up to height, right up to width. They're big, solid, scary jumps. And I've always had a bit of a thing about Coleraine being way more than what I'm capable of. So this year I really want to go. I don't care if it go clear or not, but I'd really like to go and jump an 80 centimetre round at Coleraine by the end of the year. So that's my 3 goals. Now I know we can't have any lessons at the moment, and I can't go to Coleraine and train or anything like that, but there are lots of things that I can do to help me achieve these goals. And I can do things like that at home. You know, I spend time chatting with my instructor. You know, if I go in the school here and I struggle with something, I take that back to my instructor and get some advice, and then I use that advice and come back and try again. So, you know, that's a really invaluable tool. And even if you can't ride, you know, there's nothing to say that you can't look back on, you know, videos from last year, the year before, and analyse them. You know, get your instructor to point out bits that you could do better, you know, and make notes if you have to, or, you know, or try little things out hacking if you don't have the facilities of an arena. But, you know, our horses, they still want us to enjoy them, they still want us to love them, so, you know, we really should, regardless of whether we're in a national lockdown or not. Now, what I do, the reason why I've printed this off is because I have this attached to my tack locker. So I look at it and I've put a nice picture at the bottom, which is a picture from a very successful day out. So I know, it reminds me that I'm capable of doing it. And, you know, it's a good way I look at that and I go, oh, I can do it. Look, we're doing it right there. And these are my goals. So it reminds me, every time I go to my tack locker, it reminds me, this is what I want to achieve this year. So I'm going to damn well achieve them. Now I also have, which I love, and you could all get one, it's from Tesco's and it cost me a mere £1.50. And it's this little daily planner. Yes, Peaches, this is your daily planner. This is what we do on a weekly basis, isn't it? Yes. So I sit down at the beginning of the week and I write down what I'm going to do each day to make myself accountable for my training. So I think about what I've done last week and I think about what I've got planned for this week and I write it down. Now that sits on my tack locker right next to my goals. So I look at this and I say, right, I need to do this week to achieve my goals for this year. So that's what I do. And then, you know, if I'm struggling with that, you know, I look back on, you know, old videos and things and think, yeah, that's what I want to be doing. I want to be out doing that and I want to achieve these goals. So the only way I'm going to achieve these goals is by working hard with my training to achieve them. So that's what I do. So yeah, I hope this really helps actually, because, you know, like I said, this was £1.50. It's perfect. You know, it's a whiteboard. You can scrub it off. You can change it. You know, you can also add, you know, like Peaches had her shoes on Tuesday, so that can now come off because she's, you know, had her shoes done yesterday. And, you know, give them a day off. It doesn't hurt to give them a day off. But make yourself accountable, you know, and then when you've done it, you can tick it off if you want to. And you can even tick off your goals once you've achieved them. But, you know, I have them on my tack locker every day. I look at them when I go to my tack locker, or put them in your feed room, or wherever you go every day where you can clearly see them, to give yourself a reminder of, you know, what you want to achieve. Anyway, that's enough of me. I'm blabbing. I'm now going to hand over to some of the girls from Equus, and let's hear what they've got to say, and hopefully some of those tips will help you as well. So over to the girls.
Hello, this is Rhiannon from Riding with Rhi. I am an equestrian content creator based in London/Surrey, and my goal for this year, or at least for the next few months, is to find myself my first horse. I have ridden other people's horses for my entire life. I am now 27 and looking for my own. Of course, the timing is not exactly perfect. Everyone is in a lockdown and we've been kind of going in and out of lockdowns and tiers for a little while now. So it can be difficult to keep the motivation going to find that perfect forever horse, especially when you're doing a lot of stopping and spending time online. But I think what keeps me going is just knowing that at the end I'm going to have my forever horse, which is really exciting. I really believe in fate, and I believe in things happening for a reason, and my hope is that whatever horse I find, it's going to be the right place, right time. I'm not missing out on any horses that I don't see. So that's what keeps me going. I also have a coach who is helping me look, which is really great. She keeps me motivated. I send her notes, she sends me notes, and going through that journey with someone else has been really, really helpful in making me feel like I'm not in it on my own. And I also have a lot of friends who are much more experienced in the horse world than I am, and I send them horses and they get excited with me. So I feel like I have people to share that experience with, which is really cool. So hopefully in a few months' time I will find the right horse, but in the meantime, yeah, keeping that motivation going to find the right one. I would say it's all about really not being alone, not being in it on my own, and just thinking about the big picture, the long-term goal of eventually I will have a horse of my own forever, and I'll be able to see them every day and ride whenever I want. And yeah, that is so exciting to me, and that is what keeps me going. So yeah, thanks.
Hello, I am Sophie Douglas and I am a brand ambassador for Equus England. I live in the beautiful Scottish Borders as a hypnotherapist with my 2 ponies, my little fur babies, my coloured Cobb Connie and my Palomino Connemara Mr. Johnny, and of course this little one, my Labradoodle Ralph. Winter is always a bit of a tough time for riders, especially myself, as because where we live, things can be a little bit difficult. It's usually quite snowy during the winter, and if it's not snowy, it's incredibly icy and cold. So we find it difficult to be able to hack out as often as what we'd maybe like in the spring and in the summertime. So instead we try to mix things up a little bit and do things a little bit different, just to make sure that we keep ourselves and our ponies as entertained as we possibly can. Now, I hope you're all keeping safe and well during this strange old time. I think it's fair to say that most people are finding this lockdown maybe a little bit trickier than the last one. Now, that can be for a few different reasons, really. Whether people are a little bit bored, whether we're maybe just a little bit fed up about what's happening, or most commonly I would think is that we're just in that winter period where everything's a little bit tougher, really. We are having longer nights, the days are shorter, it's cold, it's wet, it's rainy. That's unfortunately British winter for you. So it can be difficult during this lockdown, and of course it can be difficult to keep that motivation and to keep our confidence and our drive as high as we possibly can. So that's what we really want to be focusing on as much as we possibly can. Day to day, I work as a hypnotherapist, and I see riders on a daily basis lacking in confidence, lacking in motivation. It's such a normal thing to be able to go through. But I think definitely now more than ever, it's a problem that's going to be affecting so many of us. So I'm going to run through just a couple of little things that I feel that have been helping me to be able to keep my motivation high during these dark, cold months in lockdown. So personally, I found that online dressage competitions have been incredibly beneficial for me and my ponies. Dressage will always be the first discipline that I choose, and my ponies seem to absolutely love it. So it's an amazing way for us to be able to focus on what we want to achieve without having to go out to competitions. So we do this through doing a test, whatever level that we feel comfortable at. You then enter that into the competition and you get your results back. The ones that we've done, our feedback gets posted back to us, along hopefully with a couple of nice rosettes as well. I feel this has been such a beneficial thing for us because it's so good at keeping our momentum going. We all need aims, we all need goals, and it's really difficult to keep driving when there's no goals in sight. So having this has been a wonderful alternative for us and something that we've really enjoyed. So obviously I have unfortunately been unable to work at the moment due to the restrictions, but I've actually used this time as best as I feel that I possibly can, just simply by enjoying my ponies' company. It's sometimes that through our busy lives, being here, there and everywhere, we often can't just relax and enjoy the company that we have with our ponies. So we've been having wonderful pony pamper days, loads of grooming, a bit of hot clothing, and just enjoying being together and enjoying the time that we have. Because it's not always that we're going to have this luxury to be able to spend so much time. So I'm using this as best as I feel possible just to have a lovely time with them. One thing that I find works really well for me personally when I am looking at trying to build my motivation is to think about all the reasons why I should do something. So we can be so good at thinking about all the reasons why we shouldn't do something. So we maybe think about lunging. Okay, I'm going to lunge this afternoon. And we think, it's maybe a little bit wet, it's maybe a little bit windy, maybe a little bit on the cold side. We think about so many reasons why we shouldn't do something. But actually, a really good way to be able to build our motivation is to think about the reasons why we should do it. So thinking, you know, I'm going to be so proud of myself once I've done it. It's going to be such a productive time for my ponies. It's going to be really enjoyable actually once I'm out and about. And once I've got a bit of fresh air, I've got a bit of mind clearance as well. So thinking about all the wonderful benefits that come with that situation can be such a lovely driving force, just to push us on and to be able to enjoy the time that we have. So always thinking about why we should rather than why we shouldn't can be a really good way. But finally, I will always say this, enjoy yourself. I think we put so much pressure on ourselves as equestrians to do this, to do that, to keep ourselves moving. We've always got something to do. And actually, sometimes we just need to take a little bit of a step back and just relax and enjoy doing whatever it is that we wish to do. If it's going to be a bit of a quieter winter, that's absolutely fine. Have a little bit of a holiday with your ponies and enjoy that and appreciate it. There's no right or wrong way. So if we feel the need, keep that motivation high. But likewise, if we want to have a bit of a quiet day, give ourselves that bit of acceptance and do that if we wanted to. Just don't be our own worst enemy, can sometimes be the case, however hard it may seem. I hope that helps. Maybe some of you, these are just a couple of my experiences that I feel work quite well for me. I hope you have loads of motivation and I hope you do really, really well in all that you're heading on to do. Bye!
Hey there, my name is Ellie Saunders and I'm an 18-year-old rider from the West Midlands. I have a 15-2 Irish sports horse mare that's 8-year-old and she's called Whistle. Whistle was unfortunately diagnosed with navicular disease at the end of 2020. As you may know, navicular disease is every equestrian's fear, but fortunately now, due to technology advances, this means that my horse was given hope. For navicular disease, this is what we got up to. After her treatment at the vets, we were told that Whistle could be ridden again and it wouldn't put a damper on things. Imagine, this was a massive thing for me to be told. With only being 8 years old, I thought, what could we do here? Now Whistle is back in work. We're only doing walk and trot at the moment, but she's back in work, stronger than ever, and it means that we can set new goals for 2021 and hopefully get somewhere. Show jumping is normally my main discipline, but unfortunately now, because of Corona and also Whistle's navicular disease, it's meant that I can't do it at the moment. But on my yard there's a lovely mare called Loxley, which I've managed to ride throughout, whilst Whistle's been getting back to normal, and also I've been able to jump her. I feel so lucky to have a horse throughout lockdown because I know that times can be so hard. This is why us equestrians need to stick together. Set a plan throughout 2021 when hopefully shows are back together. I'm looking at a few dressage shows and hopefully I'll look towards getting to a few clear rounds around the end of this year. That's if they go ahead, fingers crossed. Consists around riding every other day to keep Whistle going. This means she's ridden about 3 to 4 times a week because with a navicular disease it's very vital that in the first stages we can keep it simple. Then this means that Whistle can avoid any other possible relapses or becoming lame again. She's been treated with 3 different things: remedial shoeing, which are shoes and pads, the Osphos injections and also the coffin joint injections. Straight after this she had to have a week off and then she started the work again. I'll upload on the next video her in the school for the first time, which went really well, and that was about 7 weeks ago now. So yeah, I sent that over to my vet and he was really pleased with that, so that's great. Throughout this lockdown I've just managed to help make the good situations from the bad. How to keep motivated throughout coronavirus and 2021 in general. I'd just say stay strong, keep going and have a goal always, so you've always got something to look forward to.
Hello, I'm Kelly Sterling. You'll find me at kellysterling.equestrian on Instagram. I'm here to tell you how I am staying motivated during the second lockdown with my 2 ponies, Troy and Cracker. Troy's a traditional gypsy cob and I compete with dressage and showing classes on him, and Cracker is a Welsh cross pony. He's sort of semi-retired, he suffered from laminitis, so we're just easing him back in gently to things. I do a little bit of everything with Cracker. So I live in central Scotland and we have had snow, we've had rain, we've had sleet, and most of all the ground has been incredibly icy and frosty, so it's been really difficult trying to get out with the horses. That coupled with lockdown and just not having the motivation really to work towards anything is for sure very challenging. but I have come up with some ways that I can focus my mind and motivate myself, and I wanted to share those tips with you. So first of all, I asked myself, if we were not in lockdown, what would I be gearing towards? So what would I'd be looking to do with the horses? And I wrote down a couple of goals at the beginning of the year that I would like to achieve with the horses. So regardless of whether or not competitions can go ahead, what I wanted to do was still focus on that point as if they were going to go ahead, basically, and work towards that. So those are essentially my big goals. So there would only be maybe a couple of those for each of my ponies. But then I needed to break that down further into sort of weekly goals. So writing down what training sessions I would be wanting to do with the horses in order to achieve that weekly goal. I think that breaking things into small bite-sized chunks really helps. So for example, one of the goals that I have with one of my ponies is to step up from prelim to novice in British dressage. Now, as part of that, I feel you've got to be sort of one step ahead of yourself. So I have started looking at some elementary tests and looking at some of the combinations that are involved in that and doing some elementary training with the horse. So that might be a different exercise that I pick every week, and I focus on that exercise and then have a bit of repetition. Next tip is to make it fun. So do something that is fun with the horses, whatever that might be. For me, usually I would be training really quite hard towards the showing season that's coming up. So then what I would do is on the weekend give the horse or horses something fun to look forward to, which for me is usually going hacking. So that's been a challenge for sure because the ground has been really icy, but any time at all where the ice has melted, where the weather is okay to get out on the horse, go and do something fun. There is nothing better than going a good gallop and blowing the cobwebs away. So my final tip is to write everything down. Get yourself a little diary, little book, doesn't matter what it is, and when you do some training with your horse, write it down and list like 3 good outcomes. I feel like every single training session that you have with your horse, you can always find something good about that. And if you put pen to paper and put that in, and then you read back on that at the end of the week, I think it's really inspirational and that keeps me motivated anyway. So I really hope that everybody finds some motivation during lockdown to get out, to do the training that they want to do with their horses, so that when competition season comes back around, and it will, that we are the best prepared we possibly can be. Fingers crossed for somewhat of a showing season this summer.
Hello everybody, my name is Sam and I am Welsh Cobb, does dressage. For any of you that don't follow me, go and follow now. I have a Welsh Cobb called Monty who is 15 years old, he's 16 this year, and I have owned him for 12 years. We do dressage and we are based in Devon. We've been affiliated for a few years now. Obviously last year wasn't a brilliant year, but we did manage to qualify for the winter area festivals, which have now been postponed as they were meant to be in February. I am going to just talk through some things that I do to keep me motivated during this weird year that's gone on so far and for however long it's going to go on for. It's difficult to stay motivated, especially when there's not necessarily anything to aim for. So I will show you some things that I do, what I'm doing to make sure I stay motivated. I've set some goals for me and Monty through lockdown, which mainly involve movements that he struggles with, one of which is his medium trot. So as you can see, this is something in this video that is improving gradually, but it's going to take some time. I'm really lucky that my instructor, well, I'm based on my instructor's yard, so I am still able to have lessons. I have been working towards movements that would have been in the pet plan test in case they're
reschedules. So his leg yield, again, this was something he found really difficult, but he's got much better at it. Because it was leading up to the pet plans, I had stopped learning new movements because I didn't want to confuse him. But because they've been postponed, I have started introducing those new movements again. So we've started working on half pass again in trot and in canter. Lockdown is a good time to use to introduce new movements for you and your horse and set as a goal to achieve. I did set some goals at the beginning of the year, but I have taken some of these into lockdown and slightly adjusted. Obviously I've got there about continuing Monty's way of going. This is a yearly goal, so it isn't something that I can achieve during lockdown. However, I've broken it down into smaller goals. So, for example, his way of going in the trot work, his way of going for his medium trot, his leg yields, and broken it down and then work on a couple of movements at a time. The other thing I do to help keep me motivated is enter some dressage online. I personally use Dressage Anywhere. It's easy to upload to. You get your results fairly quickly. Your score sheets are emailed to you. And it's just easy to use. This gives you movements to work on, sequences to work on, and gives you something to aim for. They do them every month, so there's a closing date, which means you have to get it in before that time. So to just do a quick summary, I personally still set goals. I've set them for lockdown, what I want to achieve through lockdown, so make sure that they are achievable goals. But don't put pressure on yourself. If you don't want to ride one day, it's absolutely not the end of the world. Don't feel like you have to do it, but to motivate yourself to want to do it, I just find goal setting really a good way to do it, especially if you can break it down into smaller goals. It then becomes a little bit more achievable. The online dressage competitions are definitely something that really helps me to have something to focus on. I love competing. Normally I'd be out at least twice a month, sometimes more. So it gives you something to aim for. It gives you movements to work on. I tend to have a look at the beginning of the month what the tests are, and then you can kind of work on them. I think they've got to be in for Dressage Anywhere by the 26th of the month. So it gives you a few weeks to work on the movements, and also then to record your test and enter a competition. Some people kind of dress up in competition gear, plat up their horses. You don't have to, but if you wanted to make it more competition-like, then that's something you could do. If you wanted to, you could use it to push yourself. So, for example, I did enter one in the November lockdown, and we did do a medium test. It was just to kind of go through the test, see if we can string it all together, and it gave us something to work on, to work towards for that month. Obviously that lockdown was slightly different, but I hope you find this kind of thing useful, and hopefully it will help you to stay motivated through this lockdown.
Hi there, my name's Louise. I'm here with my dressage horse Daisy, just trying to eat my fingers. We live in Cirencester, where I manage a lovely little equestrian centre. So we're all really struggling for motivation at the moment. I'm definitely no exception. I think I struggle for motivation 99% of the time. I'm quite a perfectionist, so when I don't get things perfect, I get down a little bit, and I want to be the best and I can't. So that can be quite difficult. But I think it's really important to make sure that you're planning ahead. So I write down at the beginning of the week what I plan to do with Daisy.
allowing for obviously things to go wrong, because let's face it, horses don't like to go to plan. They like to do things like lose shoes or make themselves go lame, or we end up with 4 inches of snow and I can't go for a hack, or I can't go and use the outdoor school. So those are the kind of things that we have to plan for. And there are obviously no competitions at the moment, so we're just training hard, working hard, trying to make our way of going a lot better, so that when we're finally released into the world, we can go and smash our goals, which was to compete at advanced medium. We've done one test, but that was before she went lame. If you follow my Instagram page, you'll know that. So instead we are just training hard, working really well on the changes at the moment. Aren't you? Yes, you are. You're so naughty. Thanks. That was rude, wasn't it? That was rude. Smack me in the face. So yes. Excuse me. I don't have anything for you. So yeah, so write yourself a little plan of what you're going to do for the week. So for me, I try to school 2 days in a row, and then I will hack, then school another 2 days in a row, and then hack, and then have a day off. And that is generally the basic principle of my schooling. So Mondays are always stretchy days, because Saturdays are my day off, which means Sundays are my either a hacking or a stretchy day. So it does change a little bit from week to week, but I do try to not go in the school more than 2 days in a row, because I find that she needs to do something fun, and she loves to go hacking, don't you? Yes, she loves hacking. She really enjoys a little bit of jumping as well, actually, so we try and do a little bit of that as well. Just making sure that we're keeping things fun, and trying not to run out of ideas. So there are a few Facebook pages that you can follow. So I follow Dressage with Georgia, and she posts lots of different exercises to try out. I've also got a big book of dressage exercises from How to Dressage, so that keeps things interesting when I run out of ideas, and then I'm not doing the same serpentine day in and day out. Isn't that right? Yes. So yeah, so I think the most important thing is not to beat yourself up about it. We're all going to have times where we don't want to do anything, and it doesn't matter if your horse has a week off or 2 weeks off. You'd like that, wouldn't you? Because at the end of the day, as long as your horse has food and water and exercise, they really don't care if they are ready to go out at Grand Prix, or they don't care if, you know, they didn't manage to get to the area festivals this year. So that's a really important thing to remember.
Good morning everyone, my name's Todd. I'm a 27-year-old eventer from North Yorkshire. I regularly compete around the county at both BE90 and BE 100 level. I also compete for my local riding club, and I've been at the riding club championships. This is my 8-year-old sports horse here, Got3 Bounce. He came to us just under a year ago from Ireland. He's a lovely boy, and he puts up with me sitting like a sack of potatoes on him. I also have a 15-1 Welsh pony that belongs to my brother. That's Barney, and he is very cheeky. Ask anybody. He will spend his dressage test looking at cars going past or looking at other horses, anything to get out of dressage. So that's not his strongest point. So I have set myself some goals this winter. Unfortunately, a lot of them haven't gone ahead. We haven't been able to leave the yard since November due to lockdown, and then the snow came, and then the ice, and then there was another lockdown, and I work long hours as well. So recently I've put a list together of my goals which I want to achieve. These being take Bounce around BE100 and go clear cross country, because although he has the scope, he doesn't quite understand what little skinny things are. Do you, Bouncer, mate? He is a wonderful horse, and I know that he can do it. I would love to take him to the badminton championships one day, but that might be in a few years. Barney, I would love to take him to the riding club championships and qualify for those. I have also said in my targets that I do want to ride 5 days out of 7. This is something that I did do last summer, and I do want to work towards it again. Riding helps your brain mentally, and it keeps you going. Even getting out the house for just 5 minutes to check on them, feed and water them, I instantly feel 10 times better. I have a great riding instructor in Will Murray. He has saved my skin with this horse so many times. I also use Ian Brown for flat work, and he's really good. He's transformed Barney, who is just further down there. Fingers crossed that we all get an event season this year. Seeing the fixture list has really helped me get some motivation back. The boys, they go hacking 3 days a week, and then when the eventing season starts, they'll start one lesson a week. This alternates between flat work and jumping, just depends on what's on and what I can get booked with our riding club. And then they do canter work. I'm very, very grateful to have a really big canter field. If you know my dad, he is very precious about his field, and anyway, we do get to go around it, but we have to be very careful. I work as a wedding and events manager, which means that I do work a lot of long hours, and it is really, really hard to stay motivated, unfortunately. I'm very grateful that I have the support of my dad, my granddad, my brother, and of course my number one groom, Molly. I couldn't do it without Molly. She keeps me going. She puts up with my daily changes like a star. She's a complete star. I couldn't do it without Molly. Towards the end of this summer, I am actually going to do my trailer test, so that's one of my goals for this season as well, so that I don't have to rely on my dad and Molly as much. However, my dad likes going eventing, apparently. Whenever we have a weekend off, he basically says, "Oh well, what are we going to do now? Can you not get entered late?" Dad. Bouncer here is just munching away on a silage. He came to us last February, as I've already said. He was a very strange horse when he came to us, unfortunately. He had, we think, been sedated to clip and sedated to shoe, which we didn't find out until we tried to do it. However, he's a lot better now, and I'm really, really proud of Bouncer. I can't wait to see how far he can go this season. Barney, well, if you know Barney, you'll know that he has tried to book me off on numerous occasions. We've finally worked out what the problem is with him, and fingers crossed it works. He's such a lovely little pony. I couldn't ask for a better pony to teach me on. He's actually bought for my brother, and then I took over the ride. Again, I know Barney can move up the levels. It's just me finding my confidence, and then him being confident to jump when I say jump. I do think that it is harder in the winter to have the motivation to ride, as I've explained before for my previous reasons, but I am really looking forward to getting going. Both the boys are in work now, so hopefully when this lifts, I can start sticking to my plan. And honestly, if you are feeling like this yourself, don't hesitate to give me a message. Lots of us have gone through this and are going through this with this current lockdown. It is a harder winter than usual, but hopefully we'll all get through it and we'll have a wonderful summer. Roll on summer.
Hello again. So, yay! I'm getting to finish this vlog actually out aboard Peaches, which is how I wanted to start it. But it's a few days later, and yeah, glorious weather today, thankfully. So there we have it. Thank you, girls from Equus. There are some fabulous tips there for you for hoping that it can help you stay motivated through lockdown and keep plugging away at the training, so that, you know, when we do get back to it, we can actually go out and achieve our goals and we'll be ready for it. You know, at the end of the day, what we don't want to do is get to a stage where, oh, the competitions are starting again and our horses aren't fit, they're not prepared, we're not prepared. So yeah, let's knock this lockdown rubbish on the head and let's get motivated. Hope you've liked this vlog. Sorry it's a bit of a long one, but you know, we wanted to just make sure we gave you lots and lots of tips and ideas. Please do, if you like it, make some comments below. If you have any other questions that you want to ask about what either of us might be doing, I can forward on any questions to the girls.
And yeah, give it a thumbs up, give it a like, and hopefully you'll like it enough to subscribe as well. Anyway, over and out from me. Until next time, take care, stay safe, and just enjoy your pony. That's what we all have them for. Anyway, take care, love me and peaches. Bye for now.